sure of. All right. So we need to be assured of all of these elements which are required over here. What is PQC? Making up your point, which I yesterday told you that it is going to be your idea regarding, it could be about, how the character is feeling. It could be about tone. It could be about the mood. Mood is always atmosphere when it comes to creating up a point. Then you have supporting with a quote. Quote is basically provided as an evidence. I'm just quickly recapping, and I need to lift only a word or perhaps a phrase, or it could be a part of a sentence. So you can understand this part. Okay, explain your point by commenting on meaning within the text. Now, did I mention yesterday that what expressions do we need to use when it comes to commenting? It implies, it suggests. Aisha, have you written down expressions?
Yes, miss, one moment.
Have you written down the expressions? Till that time, Shiza, you can write in the chat box telling us that have you written down the expressions? It creates an effect of, it implies, it suggests. Have we written down how do we need to start with what kind of words we need to start up our comments? If not, I'm going to give you a bit of detail over here. I'm adding up a page so that you can have a close look. Yeah. So whenever you are creating a comment, okay. So when you're creating a comment, you need to be assured that your expressions should go like this. It implies, it suggests, because we have to avoid repetition. Right after this, you can create your comments. Examiner would always beta look up for these points, and right after that, what is the main idea that you're trying to communicate, because it carries the maximum marks. And there is one more thing, that they're in total around 8 to 9, but you can always add up. For example, it depicts, it portrays. Are we writing? Are we writing, beta?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Then we have it signifies, it symbolizes. All right. Right after that, we're going to look at where is the comment. So you need to be very clear about these parts. Or what else? It conjures up. Number 8. Now please try to understand, it conjures up will only be used, beta, unless and until I need to be making up 2-3 points together. For example, if I have a collection or I grouped up like 2 points together, then I will say towards the end of this passage, the writer is conjuring up to create an atmosphere of dullness around that particular character. So conjures up is almost like gathering up. So you can't use it with one comment. You have to have two comments like together. And it implies, and so forth and so on. So this way you will be creating effects. Now I will be, and right after this, देखो, you have got point, quote, comment. Once you have created a comment, today you will be doing it right now with me, then you need to have a bit of explanation of that comment. Why?
Miss,
Yes, yes, beta. Yes, Aisha.
can you show the first few word examples? The
Yes, I can. I can for sure. Who has joined? Shameta. Okay. Shumata, I can recap it for you as well, because if you're unable to, if you have missed out a little part of the information at the beginning, I was just recapping. So I'm about to share the screen. Hold on. All right. For this, you we need to read a text. Yes. So here we have. I hope you can look at the screen now.
Yes, miss.
Okay, let me just scroll down. What do you see in this picture, first of all? What do you see in this picture? Do I need to zoom in? First of all, recognize what do you see? What kind of a character? And where is he keeping his leg? He's resting his knee. And what is his in other hand? He's wearing a safari suit, sort of.
Miss, is he a hunter?
Yes, he's a poacher, he's a hunter. So, what exactly are we looking at? This is my favorite writer, and we are going to look at his, some of the scripts. The passage below describes the writer's experience in Burma. So, he's in Burma when he was serving as a police officer at a time when the British ruled the country. He has been ordered to deal with a possible threat posed by an elephant. So, Burmans are too scared of dealing with an elephant. So, they thought that why not? Let's call this white police officer and ask him to kill it, to shoot it down, so that the threat of a you know so that the threat of danger should be removed. Now we are going to look at how this text has been written. Now this is only one paragraph that I lifted up to actually show you how we are going to make up a comment. My question is going to be, you need to focus while we are reading how this character is feeling. Feelings of the narrator. Narrator is actually this hunter whom I showed you in the picture. So first of all, we are going to read from here till here. Okay, are we all ready? Shumeta, we are ready, beta.
Yes, miss.
Shiza, Shiza, you can write in the chat box. So we should all be embraced. We are learning very good. Okay, so let's have a look. But I will stop at anywhere and then I will ask you to read. But I did not want to shoot the elephant. I watched him beating his bunch of grass against his knees with that preoccupied, grandmotherly air that elephants have. He's using grandmotherly air feeling with that elephant. It seemed to me that it would be murder to shoot him. At that age, I was not squeamish about killing animals, but I had never shot an elephant and never wanted to. Hmm. How do you think is the writer feeling? Is there a problem that he is facing over here? He says clearly, I did not want to shoot the elephant. I want you three to open up and just tell me. Either it's wrong or right, but you need to tell me, what do you think he's feeling?
Miss,
Yes,
miss, maybe the narrator feels uh, regret or guilty of killing a large animal.
a large animal. He's definitely, but right now he can't be guilty because he hasn't shot him. So, how is he feeling? Do you find him a bit confused?
Yes.
Yes, because he's been put into a situation where he's been asked to put up a show. I call it putting up a show for Burmans. Burmans have wheatish complexion and they look up to white police officers as, superior caste. Like they are the ones who are, definitely can tackle anything, in any way. Somehow, it always seems I stop here and I would want Shumeta to read from here. Somehow, from here, Vita.
And until which line?
Just to start from here,
Okay. Some
somehow.
it always seems
All right, it's fine. Let me read it. Somehow, it always seems worse to kill a large animal. Besides, there was the beast's owner to be considered. Alive, the elephant was worth at least 100 pounds. Dead, he would only be worth the value of his tusks. 5 pounds, possibly. But, but, this is basically called, what is this? This is a conjunction. But this is the conjunction of what? Of a contrast. He shows the difference in his opinion. But I had got to act quickly. I turned to some experienced looking Burmans who had been there when we arrived and asked them how the elephant had been behaving. They all said the same thing. He took no notice of you if you left him alone, but he might charge if you went too close to him. So if you're going to go close to him, he might attack you, right? But at the same time, we are looking at that I need you to answer this question. Do you believe that he actually wants to kill the elephant or not? Yes or no? Just tell me very quickly. Aisha,
No,
Shumeta.
miss.
He doesn't want to kill the elephant. But has he been forced to kill the elephant? Has he been put into a situation where he has to shoot him? Yes. What do we call such a situation? In your O level stories, beta, you must have created a situation where the person is stuck up into a problem and we call it a dilemma. Do you think the narrator is in a dilemma?
Yes,
What
miss.
what kind of a dilemma? His internal conflict versus external.
External.
Shabash, very good. External conflict. Now you understand how you have to look at the text. You have to think what is happening with this narrator, what is happening with this character. He's in a trouble. Internally, he doesn't want to shoot. Externally, please shoot the elephant. This is a conflict. Okay, so you are making up the bullet points. Shiza beta, I hope you're able to understand me. Yes. So please write down. I'm on the last two lines over here. It's a very precise paragraph. This is the second one. It was perfectly clear to me what I ought to do. I ought to walk up to within, say, 25 yards of the elephant and test his behavior. If he charged, if he attacked, if he charged, I could shoot. If he took no notice of me, it would be safe to leave him until the mayout. This is basically one, it's a typo, so please ignore this. Came back. A group of large animals all together taking the defensive side for their animal. So he's just afraid. If he's going to shoot one elephant, all the other animals are going to come at him as well. But this is the third time. But also, I knew that I was going to do no such thing. I was a poor shot with a rifle, and the ground was soft mud into which one would sink at every step. If the elephant charged and I missed him, I should have about as much chance as a toad. under a steamroller. Who is a steamroller and who is going to become a toad? I want Aisha to read the last 3 lines once again so that we can create up a comment. ये किसकी बात कर रहे हैं? What are we talking about? I was a poor shot.
Should I read the lines or should I
Yes,
answer
you
your
have to
question?
no. You please read once more so that Shiza is going to be with me and Shumeta as well. It's fine, beta, if you're not able to use the chat box then. Yes, Aisha, I was a poor shot.
I was a poor shot with a rifle, and the ground was soft mud into which one would sink at every step. If the elephant charged and I missed him, I should have about as much chance as a toad under a steamroller.
So what is happening here? Yes, who is going to be the toad and what is going to be done with the steamroller?
Miss, I feel like the hunter would be the toad and the elephant might be the steamroller.
Exactly. Excellent. This is used as a metaphor. Yesterday, it's a comparison, right? It's a comparison. Metaphor, it's a metaphor for elephant, heavy, large animal, and this toad. As a toad is what? You tell
Simile.
me. Excellent. It's a simile. Very good. Simile for toad. That he's so weak that he could be squished under its foot. So the passage is clear, and then the last line says, there was only one alternative. I shoved the cartridges. Oh God, this is dramatic pause. Dot dot dot. And he's about to, shoot. Now let's look at the answer. How we have to write down the answer. Okay, I'm looking at the chat box. Okay. Shumeta beta, are you there with us?
Yes, miss, I am.
Okay, thank you. So this, okay, this is the answer. Now have a look at it. And I have highlighted beta. Where is the point? Where is the quotation? In the exam paper, we will be writing quotes in inverted commas. Wherever you see italics, do you notice the slight change in the font size? It's italic, right? But I did not want to shoot the elephant. However, in the exam paper beta, you will be using inverted commas open and close. The first paragraph, can anyone else read, please?
Miss, can I?
Okay, thank you. Please read.
The first paragraph seems to introduce a sense of indecision and a conflict between private and public responsibilities at once. The
One
writer
minute.
is
The private responsibility as a human that we should not shoot an elephant. The public responsibility is such that Burmans are threatened, the people who live over there, and he happens to be the officer. So that is the responsibility to, put them out of danger. And these both responsibilities have come to a clash. Is it clear? Right, now proceed from here.
The writer is directly honest about the problems he is facing, accepting that he has a negative attitude towards the issue placed before him.
This is your point. The entire thing is your point. You're identifying what is the problem, what is the narrator stuck up with. Then you're quoting.
But I did not want to shoot the elephant,
Continue.
which immediately appears to establish a dilemma for him. He is torn between his natural empathy for the creature and the public road he is expected to follow. The strong attachment, moreover, which he has for the animal is shown by the
Wait. Now this is a new point. This is a new point. You see this linking word? How you will, comment, how you will start writing up the points also. The strong attachment, moreover, which he has for the animal is shown by the by the use of the instead of that elephant. Or you don't have to every time say the or that, but it could be any point. Examiner is giving you an open option the way you like, the way you want to write down. It's just a chain of PQC. You just need to create. Elephant or an. This conveys, yes, this is your comment. This conveys how he considers it an individual. He thinks of elephant as an individual, a separate being, instead of just one of a kind. So this is basically known as PQC. PQC. Now, do you understand how we need to write it down? I am not saying that you have become champions in writing critical commentary. I'm talking about the concept that you have to just tell me what is being described in the passage. You support it with an evidence and then you write down a comment. For example, dilemma is a comment. It is further developed a bit. He is We are further explaining the point. What kind of a dilemma? The dilemma is torn between his natural empathy for the creature and the public role he is expected to follow. Is this clear, Aisha? Have you understood now?
Yes, miss.
Thank you. Shiza beta, can you please write in the chat box? Shumeta, my dear Shumeta,
Yeah,
please
miss,
tell
it's
us.
clear.
Thank you. I really appreciate when you promptly give me a confirmation that you have understood. Now, I'm going to take you to the idea how you should be writing in your classroom situations, or let's say in a classroom situation when there's a task given. You will always, okay, please now write down your first paragraph, what comes in the first paragraph. So you will make up a point, okay? Every time when it comes to writing your introductory paragraph, you must have PART. This part, this is an acronym. I'll just tell you what is it about. It will make your life so easier. You will understand things really better. So let me just go to 1 minute. I need to look at, I'll just add up a point, page over here so that we can save a lot of time in this way. Okay, for example, we have, okay, PART. What is the purpose of the text? What is the purpose of the text? Is it to encourage? Is it to express his disappointment? The purpose of the text is for the writer to communicate a strong sense of empathy for the elephant. There has to be a purpose. In O levels, I have to go back to O levels because you have just undergone a transition from there. So if you remember, whenever you used to write down a letter or a report or a narrative composition, you always remembered that you used to, perhaps create a sense of pity for some character or to create an element of shock. There must be a purpose of the text. All right. Then, who is my audience? For whom am I writing? In narrative writing, for example, this is a narrative passage, so we don't comment on the audience. But when it comes to other types of text, like it could be a review, a movie review, it could be, let's say, a magazine article. When you're commenting on them, you must have to have an audience, intended audience. R stands for beta, register. Is it semi formal? Is it informal? Is it formal? Is it, you know? So, when you're reading this text, was it semi formal, formal, or informal? What do you think? Hmm. Was it too formal? Was it informal? There were slangs used. No. So it was better semi formal. Shove was written. Shove the cartridge. So that shows that as if he's talking to the reader, it's a bit more engaging. It's not completely formal like a speech, but it's very much telling us a story. Then you have a tone. Tone is basically the voice of the writer. Is it sad, happy, mysterious sounding? Is it elated, excited? What? There are different types of tones, and I have a resource pack which has been given for the photocopying, and you will be receiving beta. There are from alphabet A till Z, all the tones have been given. I have made two columns: positive tone words, negative tone words, and neutral tone words. So it's a chart on 2 pages, and whenever you're looking at a text, you will keep that in front of you, and that's how you're going to lift up the words and you're going to imply in your text. So PART will be given when it comes to any type of text, except in narrative we don't mention audiences. We don't actually give any sort of audiences over here. Now, right after this, we are moving further. Okay, we have Motasam Khan. This is your first class with me. I just quickly checked out. Hello, Motasam. Can you turn on your mic, beta? Motasam, can you hear us? Can you say hello or present so that it would be easier for you to understand even what we are exactly trying to do? We are doing PQC. You may revisit all of our notes, specifically on YouTube. You can check it out. I'm going to take you down a bit towards that part where, yeah. So we just completed a bit of a paragraph in which we were commenting about point, quote, and comment. So this document is definitely shared with you. So no worries about it. Okay. Now I'm showing you this novel, which is called The Pilot's Wife. It's so interesting. And we are not reading this novel, by the way, but I'm telling you that now the passage that you are going to look at has been taken from this novel. The passage I'm about to show you is taken from this novel. It's written by Anita Shreve, and this is your paper one. Those who have just joined me, let me quickly check the chat box. Okay, it's fine. You're connected with your laptop, it's fine. As far as you're making some of the points. So beta, this is paper one, and just take it. This is by Anita Shiv. It's highly recommended if you want to read it. It's just all up to you. So here we are looking at the exam style of a question, and it's a narrative story, and we are not going to comment as such, but I will just ask you one thing: what is the purpose of this text? What is it trying to do? What kind of an impact it makes upon the reader? Impact on the reader. It is so interesting. Okay, so let's have a quick look. We're not going to read the whole thing. I will stop at any point. It's dramatic also. Yes, its answer has been written down here also. I wanted to show you before you even read that the answer has been given. So you may, uh, refer to it also. Let's get started. Okay. So it's in the middle of the night, beta. She heard a knocking and then a dog barking. Her dream left her, skittering behind a closing door. Who is she? The pilot's wife. She heard a knocking and then a dog barking. It's 3 a.m. at night. Her dream left her, skittering behind a closing door. What do you mean by skittering? Have you ever seen a spider? The way a spider crawls, that movement is called skittering. The moment she opened up the door, her dream left her, skittering away just like the spider moves. So we've got spider like movement and a dog and knocking on the door. How does it make you feel like? What do you think the person would be feeling like? Scared?
Yes, miss.
It's definitely a dramatic opening. It's intense also. And it begins with she. She is called third person singular pronoun. Third person singular pronoun. You know, when people use she, third person singular pronoun, we use it in order to show the type of a narration. Do you know what type of a narration is this? 1 minute. What type of a narration? This is called omniscient narration. Omniscient means all knowing narration, as if the writer is very close to the mindset of the character. All right? It had been a good dream, warm and close, and she minded. She fought the waking. It was dark in the small bedroom with no light yet behind the shades. She reached for the lamp, fumbled her way up the brass, and she was thinking, what? What? Have you ever noticed when you wake up in the middle of your night, you get a bit of confused, where did you sleep, and somewhat like you're not, it doesn't make any sense because it's dark around you, there is no light. So she is definitely confused. The lit room alarmed her, the wrongness of it, like an emergency room. At midnight, she thought, I stop here. Shumeta, would you please read it better? This is so interesting. I want you to please, yeah.
She thought, in quick succession, Matty, then Jack, then neighbor, then car accident. But Matty was in bed, wasn't she? Catherine had seen her to bed, had watched her walk down the hall and through a door, the door shutting with a firmness that was just short of a slam, enough to make a statement but not provoke a reprimand. Miss, what does reprimand mean?
Reprimand means not to instigate any fight. You don't allow anyone to take a, to take charge at you. You don't irritate someone as much as they become irritated by you.
Okay. Jack? Where was Jack? She scratched the sides of her head, raking out her sleep flattened hair. Jack was where? She tried to remember the schedule. London. Due home around lunchtime. She was certain, or did she have it wrong and and had he forgotten his keys again?
All right, so 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. All right, so over here, Matty and Catherine, they are the kids, and Jack happens to be her husband. We are just assuming because we are not being yet informed about it. Because this has been taken from the pilot's wife, so her husband is a pilot who has been away, due home around lunchtime. So it is in the middle of the dark night, and he was supposed to be reaching during the lunchtime. And then we need to look at, it's a very short passage, and the examiner wants us to understand what exactly is the purpose of the text. I wish Motsam could have read for us. She sat up. and put her feet on the freezing floorboards. You read really well, Shemeta. She had never understood why the wood of an old house lost its warmth so completely in the winter. Please understand, when you're alone and you're frightened, you feel cold. The way, because there has to be someone to make you feel comfort, at your best and warm enough. But here no one is here. Her black leggings had ridden up to the middle of her calves, and the cuffs of the shirt she had slept in, a worn white shirt of Jack's. So she was wearing her husband's shirt. So this is called revealing the character through physical description. Her physical description has been given to show how dull and how perplexed she looks right now, because obviously she is in the darkness of the night again. She couldn't hear the knocking anymore. Can you guess who must be knocking at the door? Let's find out. She couldn't hear, so you can feel that it has an element of suspense to it. But will we have a cliffhanger by the end of this passage? That you need to find out. Had dreamed it. Okay, she couldn't hear the knocking anymore. She thought for a few seconds that she had imagined it. Had dreamed it in the way she sometimes had dreams from which she woke into other dreams. So she reached for the small clock on her bedside table and looked at. This is called the sense of time. The sense of time. She peered more closely at the black face with the glow in the dark dial, and then set the clock down on the marble top of the table, so hard that the case popped open and a battery rolled under the bed. But Jack was in London. Her husband, she told herself again, and Mattie, she was in the bed. There was another knock, then three sharp raps on a glass. Tuck, tuck, tuck. A small stoppage in her chest traveled down into her stomach and lay there. In the distance, the dog started up again. It is eerie. It is too frightening for her to check on the door, but it's pacing up. The pace of the passage, the pace of the passage is fast. However, in the beginning, it was steady. In the beginning, it was steady. The last two paragraphs, I'm going to skip, yeah, to this part, but you have to know who is actually at the door. It's just a suspense. So, where she's going, she walked through the kitchen and tried to see through the window over the sink into the driveway that wound around to the back of the house. She could just make out the shape of an ordinary dark car. She turned the corner into the narrow back hallway where the tiles were worse than the floorboards, ice on the soles of her feet. She flipped on the back door light and saw beyond the small panes set into the top floor a man. So we've been introduced to a character, but we have been given details of the setting. Setting, it's a domestic setting. Domestic means definitely her house, right? He tried not to look surprised by the sudden light. He moved his head slowly to the side, not staring into the glass, as if it were not a polite thing to do, as if he had all the time in the world. I stop over here. Can you tell me what would this man be doing at 3:24 in the morning in front of the pilot's house? What do you think? What do you think? Is he there to give a news? Is it just kind of a scam or something? What?
I guess an urgent news that he is responsible to deliver to his wife.
Yes, 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 indeed, indeed. He looked pale in the glare of the light. He had hooded eyelids. Here, okay. So we are being given visual details. Why? To vividly draw. I'm continuing here. Vividly draw a picturesque sight or a view. She made a judgment then. The long face, slightly sad, decent clothes, an interesting mouth. So basically, what is happening over here? She's listing down. She's listing down all the ideas together. The bottom lip slightly curved and fuller than the upper lip. Not dangerous. She was really observant. As she reached for the knob, she thought, not a burglar. She opened the door. Mrs. Lyons, he asked. And then she knew. What she knew, we don't know, but yes, we've got a cliffhanger. He already knows her name and he's definitely confirming with a question mark that is, am I talking to the right person? And then he is there to give the answer. Now, have a quick look at the answer. Opening paragraph. Opening paragraph. But first of all, we read this. Can you please tell me what is your first impression about the text? Was it an interesting story, engaging enough?
Yes, miss.
And I was quick enough to deliver that. We created some of the points here and there. Look, your first paragraph would look like this. Not exactly like this, but almost, because interpretations can always vary. The purpose of the text is to evoke a strong element of suspense. The nectar has been used to link the idea since it opens with a sense of immediacy. Abruptly, it opens. Suddenly, it opens up the text. We are not given any background. Sense of immediacy indicated by the action verbs. There are a lot of action verbs: knocking, barking, fumbled. They are used in different lines. So I have quoted. So this is my point. I identified a point. Then I am giving you a quote. Quote is basically the evidence. You have to give some kind of an evidence as being portents of disaster. Something dangerous is about to happen, something frighteningly giving her goosebumps, or it further. Now I'm giving you another point. This is point one, this is beta point two. It further depicts the disappearance of the woman's dream personified as a skittering. You remember skittering was used in the beginning, portraying something like a spider scuttling away. Therefore, the narrator appears to be in a state of dilemma. She doesn't know, she's confused, she's perplexed, offering us a gripping read. It is definitely a gripping read. If you are not using a gripping read, you can say it holds tightly the attention of the reader. So, slowly and gradually, you're reading up short passages and you're only composing with me opening paragraphs. Only opening paragraphs. What is the point? Like, what is the purpose of the text? How you create a point, how you need to quote, and then you need to create a comment. So, the chain we will follow is of P, Q, C, and then a bit of explanation. So my comment begins from here. Why? Because portraying. I gave you a list of words which actually talk about portraying, signifying, or you know discussing. So is it clear? Only you just need to tell me that you have been only able to understand. Yes, we know what is the text. So this is going to be called your reading paper. A passage, a short passage will be given to you. The best part about this paper is, unlike O-level exam paper, they are giving you 15 exclusive minutes to read the text. Just imagine how of a benefit is this. And for writing, they're giving you 2 hours. But this is for like 2 questions. There will be 2 passages, and if you notice in how many minutes that we read, it would not be incorrect to say that we read in 5 minutes or 6 minutes or perhaps 7 minutes. 7 plus 7, 14 minutes. So, and 2 hours will be given. So, you have any questions? It's 9:50. Please do let me know. Let me take your questions now.
Miss, I don't have a question, but more like a little request.
Yes, please.
The few words that you wrote at the starting, like it implies or
Hmm.
signifies, can you show
Hmm.
that one more time?
Yes, yes. Why not? Why not? Okay. Yeah, it's on the same page. Okay, 1 minute. Let me just quickly take you towards that page instead of like scrolling back and forth again. One minute. Just we're right over here. Yeah, got it. Because I have like 9 to 8 pages have been opened. All right. So right after these points, examiner is going to give you more marks because they're looking at what does it implies when you're creating effects. It suggests, it depicts, it portrays, it signifies, it symbolizes, it conjures up, um, it conveys a sort of message, it implies. Yeah. So this is a list because the examiner doesn't want us to be repetitive. You can also say it represents. I missed that out. There are so many. It conveys a strong sense of. You can also use this expression. Now, I will not ask you, I mean, for this 1 week, I am not giving you anything to, as in like whole passage needed to be comment, but right now I will be just sharing little parts where you need to understand how the answer is going to be structured. You can also use it represents so that you have variety. You don't repeat your words again and again in a passage analysis. All right. Tomorrow's class is going to be paper 2, and we will be going forward for some of the um, movies. I will be showing you some different reviews. We will be going for paper 2. No reading paper because I have consumed 2 classes on it. Now I'm going to give you a shift and a change. We will be doing paper 2, creative writing section. I will be sharing with you exam script, some samples, will give you a lot of different ways to look at A-level English exam paper. So yeah, looking forward to see you inshallah tomorrow. That's it for today. Any other person who has any request? I think this is so far it. Shameta, you're good, beta. That's the end of the lesson. We need to connect to the next class. Thank you so much. Take care.